Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be taking a look at the Magic Square MS-B09A Trailblazer. This is the latest release for this mold, which is fully painted, more tuned colors with a grayer paint than the black that was on the previous release to this. Great figure, in my opinion, the best Trailblazer as far as legend scale. Might be the only one, I'm not sure. But anyhow, somewhat of a dated mold, but he's still pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and get into it. As always, we're going to start with accessories. So he does come with his arm blaster, this time painted in silver. Looks really good. I don't really love the way that he's attached to the arm, but we'll go over that. Comes with a shoulder cannon, also done in silver, and it does pivot. Be careful putting this on for the first time. Since he's fully painted, it's going to be really tight, so be careful. And lastly, he comes with his force field generator. Again, silver. It does pivot. It's on a ball, so you can get lots of motion on it, and sculpted well enough. And just for comparison to the previous release, the new ones are done again in silver. The old ones are in gray, so a bit plain. The sculpting and everything is identical, but just done a dull gray plastic on the previous. Much prefer the silver of the new release. So let's start with the figure. And in the previous video, I started in robot and went to alt mode. If you want to see that video, click the link here. But taking a look at him, all the gray that you see is painted. Pretty much everything's painted, except for the wheels, which is a bit disappointing. I wish they had some color. But it does look really good. The gray is it's lighter than the black, which is more cartoon accurate. You got metallic blue speckle for the windows all the way around. There's the view from the back. Nicely done. View from the front. And there's a trick to the transformation I'm going to show you to avoid losing the paint on your bumper. But it does look fantastic. I love the tail lights, and then the orange, yellow, and red on the fenders. The quarter panels. It looks really good. Overall, pretty fantastic. And people have complained about this gap, but if you look at the animation model here, it's actually very similar. So it is cartoon accurate, which is pretty amazing. Now, if you want to, you can definitely use his force field generator in vehicle mode. Just simply plug it in on the roof, and due to the tightness, it's a little difficult to get, but it can be done. So you can have that look if you like. I know it's supposed to be a radar dish, but this is what we have. Here's a quick comparison to the previous release, the painted black version. Both are pretty fantastic. Obviously they share the same mold, but this definitely, with the glossy paint, has a different feel to that, the previous release. And I gotta say, I much prefer it. Again, the trick I was gonna mention, if you don't do the transformation right, you do get some nasty scuffs here on the front bumper. So be careful. But overall, very, very nice version of Trailbreaker. So let's get this guy transformed. Probably the hardest part is getting the camper shell situated properly. You want to separate it and pull out on these doors too, just to avoid issues later with the pegs. And it's supposed to rock down and then up like that. Actually worked better than usual this time. Yay. So spin the arms down, just give yourself some room. Now here, this is the trick I was talking about to avoid scuffing the bumper. Make sure that you push it in on that track before you tilt it. And that will save your bumper paint. So we can now get this out of the way and bring our arms down. Go ahead and straighten them. Can make the connection here on the windows. Pivot this down. Don't forget to push the head up and spin it. Slide the windshield forward on the track. I wish those held a little bit better, to be honest. Separate the legs. Get this out of the way for now. Bring this section down and swing the inner leg out. Pull up on this. Spin the quarter panel. Bring this back up. Close the connection. Bring the foot out, the toes. Spin this around, and that's one leg done. We're going to go ahead and do that again. Separate, swing the foot down. Swing in the inner leg. Rotate. Swing out the front of the leg. Close. Bring out the foot, the toes. Bring that up. There we go. And the last steps, get the arm situated. Bring the hand forward. And this is where you can bring in his arm cannon. Slides into the hand like so. And now we get the backpack situated. And that is that. So let's take a look at the figure. Very nice head sculpt with blue metallic eyes. The rest painted in the lighter gray, the charcoal. Do have full rotation, but the head is just, it's on a peg, so no forward and back. And once you do that, just gotta work it back on. Shoulders, solid across, fully painted, looks good. This is where it's a little limited as far as arm outward movement. That's it. About 45 degrees. You can fake it a little bit for higher, but you have to just tilt forward. Or you can utilize the double jointed elbow to give it some height, but very limited as far as up on the shoulders. Fully painted. You got the windshield coming through, hood looking great, painted in the gray. Believe it or not, you do have an ab crunch. Now, the waist is a little bit wonky in the sense that it wants to pull away, but you do have a fairly decent ab crunch there. Just bear in mind with the joint here, it's going to constantly be moving back and forth on you. You do have full waist rotation. Legs can go up 90 degrees forward, back, and out to the side, almost the full run. Double jointed knees, which you can engage and get that far. And then you do have rotation at the thigh and a nice rocker, but no tilt up and down, but you do have some tilt on the toe. So overall, articulation a little bit limited, but the paint and everything, the thighs are fully painted, red paint. Everything that you see is painted on this figure. And again, he has a completely different feel than the release just prior to this, about a year earlier. So definitely, in my opinion, an improvement. For his accessories, we can go ahead and get these plugged in. It is easiest for the shoulder cannon to make it, to bring it all the way back, put it straight, because like I said, it is tight. And wiggle it in to the port. And there's that. You don't have any side rotation, but you do still get the full up and down motion, which is nice. You can also bring in his force field generator. Again, this one, make sure you have it straight. And utilizing the hole right there behind his head, you can wiggle that into place. And that'll give you full use of the force field generator. You can push it in as deep as you want. I don't want to go in too far, but being that it's on a peg, you do get a full range of motion. Side, swivel, up, down. So very, very well done. Then of course you do have the arm blaster, which we talked about earlier, but fully armored up, I think he looks pretty badass, honestly. And here we have the two most recent releases together. Obvious differences are the color of the gray, which is fully painted here. Here is just plastic. You still get the same general colors, except gray used on the front of the legs instead of white on this version. Then obviously the biggest difference is the color of the black, where this is a charcoal gray, that is just a flat black. So two really good figures. I'm glad I actually have both, but if it came down to choosing one or the other, I would definitely go with this option. It just has a more premium feel and a more cartoon accurate look, because in the cartoon he's more this shade than just straight black. Let's start wrapping things up by talking about the negatives. The only real issue I have with this figure is a lack of articulation. It definitely has the feel of an older design, and the articulation just isn't what you would expect from modern designs. For example, here, in order to get the arm out, I had to disconnect the shoulder connection, which it is a bit disappointing, honestly. Positives wise, the paint on this particular version is fantastic. It's flawlessly done. It adds some density to the feel of the plastic. I know a lot of people like to harp on Magic Square for the gumminess of their plastic. This definitely does not have that issue. The paint is awesome. The detail that is there is pretty spot on for the cartoon. The colors with this version, I feel, really also pull or represent a better cartoon look. So if that's what you're after, I recommend going after this one, honestly. He's a great figure. For a starting company, with this being one of their earlier designs, I think Magic Square did a really good job. But let's just say that I hope that we have a 2.0 coming in the future. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get your bell on so you get notified of future content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.